One thing that some people like to say is that the Greek of Matthew is not translation Greek. From what I've been able to gather from those that assert this evaluation runs on vibes. To slip into the vernacular for a moment, rather than actual data. So I'm going to take a moment to try to identify this further. The first thing we need to do is get a better definition of translation Greek and some syntactical criteria of translation Greek from Vetus Testamentum, Volume 10, Fasc. 3. Some statistical data is given to identify translation Greek by the propositions. In that article, Matthew is consistently below the maximum for translation Greek. For example, the maximum for translation Greek use of the genitive delta iota is 0.11, and Matthew is at 0.076. This is in contrast to Acts, which stands at 0.18. So by the numbers, Matthew absolutely is translation Greek. We can see similar numbers when word order is compared between the synoptics and other known translation Greek in the mechanics of translation Greek. Another example of something we see in translation Greek that we don't see in original Greek is names are given connected to their Semitic meaning without explanation. For example, in Genesis 3 verse 20, the connection between Eve's name and life isn't explained in either Greek or English. This happens all over the Old Testament. In the Semitic language, they just expect the reader to see it or the listener to hear it. It also happens in Matthew 1 verse 21, Matthew 2 verse 23, and Matthew 16 verse 18. It does not happen in any other gospel. If a Semitic name is given in any other gospel connected with a calling or other linguistic element in a Semitic language, it is explained. In Luke, John the Baptist is given a divine appointment and name, but the name is not connected to his calling. There is no, he will be called John because. And in John, when Peter's name is explained in John 1 verse 42, the Semitic definition is given. It's also worth noting that the number 14 in Matthew 1 verse 17 would not have made any sense to the Greek reader without explanation. Famously, David in Hebrew adds up to 14. In Greek, David adds up to 407 or 9 or 78 depending on how you spell it though. So when people claim that Matthew is not translation Greek, unfortunately the facts speak against them. The Greek of Matthew falls well within known ranges for translation Greek, and it shows the features we expect from a document translated from Greek.